When I sit in my thoughts and look at Africans, both Africans at home and Africans abroad, I see a people who are fighting so hard to belong somewhere, yet unsure where that somewhere is. I see people who get stuck or suspended between two words. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to describe here.
In recent times, in fact, it has been in history when people move from one culture to another, not just Africans, they tend to come across a situation whereby they have to assimilate into the new culture. Difficulties that they come across,
This is the catalyst, and today we are unpacking the African identity crisis. With me in the studio is a very good friend of mine, Oscar. Oscar, welcome to the Catalyst.
Thank you very much. I'm privileged.
If you ask most Africans, who are you? As simple as who are you? You get one of three answers. And over my conversations, my interaction with fellow Africans, I have come to summarize all the responses I've gathered into three answers. The first one borders around who we are told to be. The second borders around who we pretend to be. And lastly, who we are trying to be. I thought about these things, and sometimes I don't ask you a direct question, like I don't walk up to people and say, who are you? But during our conversations, this type of identity answer, this type of answers that how people explain who they are is what I have summarized into these three answers. And I have those answers written down, and the responses that I've gotten into under one of those, like say we have these three answers, right? And each of that three answers has example responses, and I've written them down here. So what we're gonna do, okay, Oscar, what we're gonna do, dump the answers here on the table. We're gonna mix them up, okay, and we're gonna mix them up, and we're gonna start with answer one. We mix them up. You can mix them, throw them up.
Oh, all these ones too?
Yeah, let's mix them up. We're gonna play a little game. What I'm trying to do now is that I want us to sort these responses to the right answer, because each of that package there has three answers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna mix the responses from each of those three answers, and we're gonna play a little game. And the goal of the game is to match the response to the correct answer. So let's start with answer one. Please do me a favor, Oscar. Read out what answer one says.
Answer one says, who we were told to be.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna mix this up. So when we pick one there, I want you to tell me in your own understanding which answer should it go to.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you where it should go to as well.
All right. I read it out first.
Yes.
Married with kids by 30 because that's respectable.
Do you want me to tell you where it belongs to?
Yes.
That is obviously going to the answer one bucket.
All right.
Yeah, put it in answer one. You can put it inside if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
So that, is who you are told to be, right? Because growing up, right, everybody believes that the goal of life is when you get to a certain age, you are expected to get married and settle down. And when your parents don't see that happening in your life, they ask you questions. They say, if you're a man, they say, when are you bringing her? And if you're a lady, they ask you, when are you bringing the Mr. Right?
Yep.
So let's move on. I can open one as well.
Awesome.
This one says, the doctor, because parents said so. which category would this go, Oscar? Is it who you were told to be, who you are trying to be, or who you pretend to be?
Parents says so. Told.
Who you are told to be. That's correct. Yeah, exactly. Let's sort it out like that. So I'm going to put that in the correct answer one. That's answer one as well. Okay. I'm going to read another one. This one says, the silent, obedient child, even at 30. The silent, obedient child, even at 30. To me, this is obvious who you are told to be, because you are told to be obedient and do what you are asked to do and not ask questions. So I'll put that in category one.
One again?
Yeah, I don't
How
know why
come we randomly keep
I don't
picking
know.
one?
I mixed them up, right?
I saw you mix them up.
Yeah, there's no trick here. I'm just picking them randomly.
I can tell.
Okay. Oh, now I think this might be a different category. This says the international person embarrassed when relatives visit.
Who you pretend to be.
I think is who you are trying to be, because you are. Oh wait, yeah, you are embarrassed when a relative visit, right? So you are trying to become international person. You are trying to become that international person, and then when a relative visits, you don't feel comfortable because you are trying to run away from your shadows.
Yeah,
So I put that under who you are trying to be.
Trying.
Yeah.
All right, the third one.
Yeah, it goes to the third answer, who you are trying to be. And I'm going to read this one. It says, successful entrepreneur on Instagram, struggling with rent.
Parents.
Struggling with rent. Okay. Successful entrepreneur on Instagram, struggling with...
Two.
That's two. What does two say?
Who we pretend
Who
to
we
be.
pretend to be. Yeah. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get through this. And this one says, posting black excellence while ashamed of your accent. People do that, right?
Yeah.
Why would anyone be ashamed of their accent in the first place?
It's like trying to run away from your shadow.
Yeah. Sounds like it, but that's not possible because these things follow you wherever you go.
So
these things follow you wherever you
where
go.
is this one?
That would be
Pretend.
That would be who we are trying to be. Who we are trying to be. Fake it till you make it. Okay.
I am.
You want to read one then?
Which one was this one?
The last one I read was number 2. Who we pretend to be. Who we pretend to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm gonna read the next one. Maybe you're gonna read the next one after I read this one. This one says, the good Christian Muslim who never questions. This is very obvious. Is it who we are told to be, or who we pretend to be, or who we are trying to be?
I would say who we were told to be.
Yes, who we are told to be. Yeah, that's correct. Because we were raised either Muslim or Christian. Most of us, right? So we are like all our lives. That's what we know, and we are not. Sometimes there are certain questions you can't answer. They will be told to accept it.
In the Christian home, they will tell you to take it by faith.
It's God's will. This is the will of God for you. Take.
Oh, no, I got one already.
Okay, go ahead.
Trying to balance parents' dream with your own, failing at both.
Yeah, that would be who we are trying to be. It's pretty obvious because it says trying. Trying. But people do that, right? Like you have your own dreams, but your parents has a different expectations for you, right? Like,
Yeah.
you want to like, for example, I've seen people who like their dad or maybe one of their parents is a lawyer, and the parent also want them to be a lawyer.
Oh yeah, I've seen that a lot of times.
But the guy wants to do something else entirely, maybe music, maybe acting, and oh, you are bringing embarrassment to this family.
African parents don't really like that a lot of times.
Yeah, but do parents have rights to make those choices for their children?
They, they, what I will answer this like this. Me with my kids, where what I see them excel in, I now
Guide them.
I guide them. I fine tune them, like talk them into it a little bit, and I'll be watching their responses too, because most times a child feels a certain way when he's a teenager, but when they get to 22, 23, their experiences changes. I felt that in my life when I was in that phase of
That makes
transition.
sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean,
My parents wanted me to read medicine, and but when I got to college, I wasn't able to make my jam.
jam, yeah, in Nigeria, yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up reading economic and statistics.
Yeah, Jam did the same thing to me because I wanted to be a lawyer, but it was very competitive to get into the program. Plus, if you don't know somebody that knows somebody, if you don't have those connections and
Yeah.
long legs, so they say in Nigeria, right? Yeah, sometimes it's very challenging to students, and that will always push people to go into the other programs that they did not originally thought,
And
did not
then
originally plan to do.
2 years later, I now later had the medicine admission, but I've
Whoa.
already gone.
Yeah.
And I told my parents were like, "You still want to go back and start?" I told them no, and they were
see.
fine with it.
Yeah, because once you make that decision, man, like it takes a lot to say, okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna,
Oh, yeah.
you leave everything else you've done, and then okay, let's move on. The corporate professional climbing a ladder you don't believe in. This is career based.
Yeah,
Career based, because like growing up, right, all we are taught also is that you go to school, graduate, get a job, and when you get that job, try to get promotion, keep
Yeah.
climbing, keep going up, up. It's just so. And when people define who they are, right, like is the essence of who they are is always in that career frame.
yes, yes. Another aspect that that came into my mind as you brought this topic is when you get to a certain level in your career and you're retiring, a lot of people find out that retirement becomes
That's
So-
too self. Yeah, that's too self.
Yeah.
Okay. So this would be under who we are told to be, like the corporate professional climbing a ladder you don't believe in. Who we
oh,
were
okay.
told
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, we're done with that one.
All right. You're gonna read the next one. I think I'm being the only one reading so far.
Okay.
Traditional African in dashiki, but living completely Western life.
Who we pretend to be.
Who we pretend to be. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Okay, please read the next one.
Proving you're civilized to people who never fully accepts you.
Proving you are civilized to people who, that's who we are trying to be, right? Because you are in the midst of other people and you are trying to belong. You're trying to, that's the only reason why you try to prove something to them, right?
Would looking for acceptance.
Exactly. That's what it says. So you're trying to belong. You're trying to, be
That comes with a lot of inferiority complex.
Oh man, it's a psychological issue. It's a psychological problem. Because you're just gonna be in that. You're just gonna be running around a circle.
Yeah.
And you probably would never be accepted, because if you don't belong there, you don't belong there.
The earlier a man understands that you're not working to impress anybody, the better you are able to face your own your own goals.
Yeah.
Because trying to impress people is distracting on its own.
On its own, yeah.
The next one says the Americanized version that might get you accepted at work.
That's also who we are trying to be.
That's also pretense too. So it bounces between 2 and 3.
I think it's more of who we are trying to be, right?
At work.
Yeah, because it's still trying to belong.
Is that related to professionality at work?
It's not. It's not related to professionality. This is
pretense. If it's professionality at work, then it is.
Can we read that one more time? Let's trash it in the right bin.
I like this one. That is giving you some brainstorming.
I strongly believe that is who we are trying to be.
The Americanized version that might get you accepted at work. The way you put it makes it not to be Americanized version is not specifically professional version.
Mm-hmm.
Because but when you say at work, it relates to professionality.
Yeah, it's not. This is not about. I don't think it's about professionality, though.
Work.
Okay. Let me read it and then internalize it. The Americanized version that might get accepted at work. Yeah, because what this is saying is that you are trying to be. It's just similar to the last one that we talked about, right? You are trying to be accepted, right? And then maybe you are in America, right? This is for people who live in America, for example, right? So in trying to be accepted, you try to Americanize yourself to belong, right?
Is that a good thing?
It's not a good thing. I'm not saying that it's a good thing. Which is why we're talking about it, right? This is why we are revealing these things, right? And to remind people that
falls into that act.
Yeah, that they have better options, right?
Makes sense. Yeah. All right. You rescue yourself there, buddy. What was that? The third one?
That's the third one. That's who we are trying to be.
Awesome. Yeah. Modern individual wanting freedom but feeling guilty.
That's also who we are trying to be.
Any
objection? Any objection? That's who we are trying to be.
Yes, who we're trying to be.
Okay.
Guilty.
Why people shouldn't feel guilty for wanting freedom? Should they?
Yeah, who we're trying to be.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay, so now it clicked. It clicked. Okay. Claims to value community but hasn't been home in 5 years. This is about you. This one is speaking to you.
Well, I talk with them almost every day. They're the one building my website, right? So I speak with them on FaceTime and
family members building your website. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm not really out of their lives, and it makes me don't want to take the risk of traveling, because most times when I'm talking to them, my children come and say hi, and yeah.
So this
creates
is
familiarity.
this is who we pretend to be.
Pretend.
Yeah. But
Number two.
I wanted to talk a little bit about why it's important to go home at least every 3 years, 5 at most, because when you go home, you connect to with nature. You connect to nature.
Oh, yeah.
You connect to your people. Yeah, like your friends, right? Like your childhood friends. If you were born and raised in Nigeria, right? Your primary school friends, your secondary school friends. So that moment is always enriching. Is special.
Yeah, it's a very good thing. The last time I think I went to Niger was 2017.
That's a long time.
I went 2012 to Ghana. But I did not get to,
Nigeria.
because when I was with those military contracting people, I used to announce before I go, and then when I go, they beg for money too much. Fuck.
Obviously.
It's something that I experienced. Like, I used to go every year that time, and working with those guys for about 14 years, and I go every year, was fun. And then after I left that job, I decided, when I have started making my babies, I don't go as frequent as I used to go anymore.
Yeah, of course, responsibilities.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking to those who can afford it, especially those who can afford it comfortably, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
they don't see that it's important to do that.
Yeah, I know, like, a cousin of mine has not been home for
20 years?
26 years.
Holy.
Yes. Yeah, he's in the US.
This is
He's a professional Yeah.
the problem, because
athlete.
okay, has that person fully internalized here? Has it been fully accepted here?
Oh,
Because they are
Acceptance.
probably not, right? And when they go back home after maybe 25, 26, 30 years, the people back there are gonna they will see him as a foreigner. This is
yeah, that's possible.
But I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something I noticed, right?
Yeah.
When you stay too long abroad and you go back home, right? When people see you, they see the changes. They notice these changes. They might not say it in your front, in front of you.
Yeah.
But when they sit down when you are not there, they make comments about how you have changed, how you are now a foreigner in your own country. These are not strangers. These are your family, your brothers and sisters, right?
Yeah.
So these things happen. Anyways, let's move on. The last one, I believe, woke Pan-Africanists online but can't speak mother tongue. This is who you pretend to be. You pretend to be a woke Pan-Africanist but can't speak mother tongue. Language is important, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's like a fundament of your culture. If you can speak your language, you must, like, learn to. Like my children, I am trying to make them
Trying to teach them the language.
Yes, and they greet me with my language every morning.
That's good.
Yeah, and
good.
we start from somewhere.
Yeah, of course. 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a week,
And then when we go to Nigeria, when they're old enough, yeah, they're gonna contact.
Yeah. They need to make that contact.
The older one really wants to go though.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. So we've finished that, and what this tells me is that we are always living as who we are told to be, who we pretend to be, and who we are trying to be, but rarely who we actually are.
One thing that I noticed with African when you move down here, we either unveil the propaganda with life, with the Western world, the way they tell their story about us African back home is different from what really happens back home. Because most stories that we hear here
About
are
us.
about us are stories from foreigners that go home for
Yeah.
either charity jobs,
Yeah.
missionary jobs,
Yeah.
or take contracts or
Yeah.
jobs that they go to do things or constructions.
Yeah.
But then these foreigners a lot of times do not assimilate into
Of course they don't. They had their mission. Right?
So they just take clips of, especially the media, the mainstream media people. They take clips of what will push their financial advancement in that business they came to do. And that clips are always merciful clips, like children with
Charity, so yeah,
drop
to show proof of their
and then,
charity.
exactly. So and then with bad looking like hots.
Yeah,
In
and that
Sudan,
doesn't paint the correct image of
image
who
of
we actually
Africans
are. Yeah,
and how we live.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
that
wanted
makes
to-
sense.
Yeah,
But like, if this is what happened when you let someone else tell your stories, tell you
we Africans
we should
in
own
the past
our own
we have
stories and our
let
history.
foreigners to come home, and then we don't. They just witness what they see and record them down. 2 or 3 interviews, and then they draw conclusion.
Yeah, they
know?
generalize based on a small sample of what they've seen.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So when we leave home, there are anchors that we left behind. We've touched one of them a little bit, but it's language, But I also want us to look at the other ones. There is this thing called the elder's wisdom. The wisdom that can settle disputes without going to the police, without calling the cops. We're very familiar in the diaspora, right? But we already have these institutions, these African institutions where we are able to take care of our own internal crises, our family issues, right?
Yeah.
But when we live here, when we live outside of Nigeria and the diaspora, we forget those things, right? We are quick to call the cops, even to our family. You see couples calling police on each other for simple dispute that can be settled in the family, within the family.
A lot of times this comes as a result of remember the first word I said before? Propaganda. When you come down here, you see on the streets, on your arrival, they tell you, call 911 if you suspect a driver is drunk. Call 911. These things, they fine-tune your brain to start thinking that calling the police is a part of how to get westernized.
Yeah, but those get you help.
Those get you help, and it also gets you exposure to a side of government you practically shouldn't really be operating or involved on daily basis. So these things they expose you to extremities in your arrival or in your existence in that city. Mm-hmm. So what a lot of Africans, they fall to those because even in the university environment, they encourage you to call.
Okay.
And that makes, and then another thing again is when you have a little dispute either in campus or in the public, and it's something that back home, this is something you would have a dialogue and sort out.
Yeah.
But the person already calls the police on you.
Yeah.
Next time someone offends you, you your mind kicks into you doing the same thing that you experienced previously.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I think what you're saying is that, I mean, you're not, I think you're not saying don't call the cops when you're in danger.
No.
You know, I think you're saying for disputes that can be settled within the family, don't call the cops, or exhaust that one, the one, exhaust the dispute resolution within the family first, right? Then if
Run out of options.
exactly, if it's not resolved in that within that level, then you can go ahead and
You see, in Africa, we are trained. We are like me. When I was back home, we are trained by my parents to see that everything can be discussed and settled. When you have that ideology,
but that's a good mindset.
it makes you to always, when you see people behaving erratic around a certain matter, you give them space for them to display the radicalness. But when they calm down, you now reapproach them again.
Yeah.
And you will see that
they will always
yes,
come back to their senses.
My dad taught us that practically, and that is what I've been trying to instill onto my children too, because that made me and my elder brothers not to be always arguing, because the one I'm next to is 13. He's 11 years older than me. So, but we never have issues because my parents already draw the line as we're growing up.
That's good. That's good.
So, but that is something they lack here.
I wish most parents did that.
Exactly, but this is one thing that controls it. If parents do not know how to manage their time with work and with time with kids,
family, that's important. That what you just said now is something that a lot of parents do, right? And to be honest, recently I've seen one guy, a Nigerian guy in the States.
Yeah.
So it was on X Space, and we are talking about parenting that day, and the people are complaining about people who complain that they had absent parents, right? And
children complain about that.
The two opposing view is that, if your parents was absent because he was trying to make a living and make money and provide for the family, you shouldn't be mad at him. If he made money for you, you shouldn't be mad at him. That it is only wrong when he is absent and was not able to provide enough
for you. Yes.
But again, I feel like balance is better, right?
That's my
because
style.
if you risk being present for getting money, you lose it, because that money will have no meaning.
Exactly.
If you don't build that foundation that your family needs, because your presence is what builds that, right?
Very
the
important.
Connection, the teachings, the wisdom that you pass down, you transfer. Exactly. Like, you need time to do those things, right? You need time for your because these children also need leaders, right? And the first leader that a child has in the family is the parents.
Yes.
You are the first teacher. They learn from you. They learn everything from you. They learn language from you. They learn restraint from you. They learn discipline from you, right? So you have to be present. That should come first.
Yep. That comes, that when a child is given that, you see that when they leave the family and get into the world, they know how to discern they already got taught at home, so they know how to make new friends that are not becoming hazardous to them, because they can sense people.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can read
Exactly.
people. Yeah.
Like I always admire those families that even though they don't have a lot of money, right? Decent, but they have something that you cannot
Structure.
buy. You cannot buy with money, right?
Structure.
Yeah, they have that structure.
Yeah.
They are united. They are, you can't buy that with money.
No.
Money can't give you that. So,
No.
and eventually, based on my observation, you see children from those family excelling better than
They don't have
the
mental
let me
health.
finish. Let me finish this point. My observation, in my observation, I've seen that children from those type of family that have that balance, like the parents are there, they make decent amount of money. They are not so rich, but pretty decent, right? I found that the children from those families, they usually excel better than children from the so-called absent father that was a good provider.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. I have a lot of friends that, not friends, but acquaintances that they feel they work, and they get surprised when their son tells the mom, "Shut up."
oh
Yeah.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And those are not,
didn't-
but
and you-
those
you-
are not, these example of people were not Africans. I've not seen African parents that happens, but I bet you if the African parent does not do the African style of upbringing on the child, that there's possibility when they grow up here.
Of course. That the fact that you haven't seen it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen.
Not happening.
I mean, you haven't seen all the African families here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So another anchor is what we call community accountability.
Yeah.
Because in the way we live back home, right? Like this family knows this family, this neighbor knows this neighbor. You know what I mean? There is this accountability that is usually within our communities. Yeah.
Yes, and it takes a community to raise a child. There is a slogan.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
Because people know each other by name.
In Africa-
when they see you, they be like, "That is the son of so and so. This is
Exactly.
Mrs. This is Mrs. Okokwo's son.
Yes.
Oh, you've grown so big."
Yeah. And in Africa, we have elders that, they give you, if someone provokes you, you have someone to vent to first before you really.
Yeah, before you take action.
Yes. So that controls mental illness. We didn't really have therapies, but
Yeah, but
the way you're brought up, you don't need therapy
Yeah.
as you confront tasks
Yeah.
about life. You don't need pills to psychiatrically get treated when you didn't really get a sickness. That is what is going on in the West here. A lot of people, they have this situation of they grow up with popping pills,
too many pills
frequently.
and not one. Maybe
when-
3 pills for 3 different problems.
Like-
and these things are chemicals. They have some side effects too.
Exactly. So these things make your decisions as an adult. If you've been doing that as a little child, when you become an adult, it becomes worse.
There's something like what you just said now reminds me of my own personal experience with pills, medications. Like I will always tell people, right? Try as much as you can, to find natural remedies to issues that are not like extremely medical issues, right? Because in 2020, I developed environmental allergies, right? I didn't know what was wrong with me. I thought it was COVID. I did COVID tests like 3 times during that lockdown period, right? So because all my symptoms suggested that it could be COVID. So every time I go and they send me to go for another test, right? So eventually I met someone introduced me to Dr. Zoe, right? I met Dr. Zoe, and he after like sending me to multiple tests as well, everything came negative, and he said it could be allergies. So he sent me to allergy specialist, right? So I tested positive for a bunch of environmental allergies, right? And I was placed on reacting. I think it's called reacting.
Yeah,
right?
I know reacting.
So I took that for 5 years, from 2020 until August 2025. I just like every time I try to get rid of it, right? Like, I feel like there's something missing in my body, right?
Yeah,
Like, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I feel weird. So I have to take it, to, you know what I mean? So, and every winter I will get bad reactions. Like I will have running nose, I will have, all kinds of stuff, right? So, but something happened this August. I thought about how I can fight it without continuing to be on that.
Chalk knuckle.
I thought about it, right? And I did it. It was painful, but I pulled through it, right? I got rid of it, and I said, I'm not going to take this again. And since that day, I've never taken it.
Good for you.
I overcame it.
Good
and this
for
is
you.
my first winter. This is me going through winter for the first time since 2020 without that
Good for you,
medication.
bro. Yeah. In this area, children, as they're growing up, when they're teenagers, they experience different feelings, right? And maybe they complain at home or complain on the parents or in school. And if it is in a place like Vancouver or California, they will tell the child that it could be gender affirmation.
Oh, yeah.
Confusion.
I know where you're going.
Okay, I'm not going to go into that aspect. That is one. Now, if it is in a place that is not that liberal,
Yeah, they will have other
you see, I
remedies.
said California, which is in
But
United
you also
States.
mentioned Vancouver.
Vancouver, which is in Canada. Now, Sydney, Australia, the whole country, they view matters very similar to Vancouver and
So liberal.
yes,
Extreme.
you can imagine a whole
extreme
country being like that.
Liberalism.
Now, check the amount of teenagers and adolescents that are on depression pill
Yeah. I feel something just
and
clicked in my head.
anxiety, depression, anxiety, and what do they call the other one? Schizo.
I feel
Schizo.
for, like when I hear you say these things, right? I feel that there is something that the world can learn from Africa.
And it's not
and
because they were
Africans.
sick when they were introduced this pill to. It's because they were told a certain suspicious
Yeah.
outcome or cause of that feeling.
Yeah.
So when in Africa, when a child complains, the way we view the complaint of a child, we view it like this human is not fully developed.
Exactly.
But here, when a child complains, they call police. Call ambulance. Trust me. A child will complain and then they will just call the teacher and blame the teacher. I've seen things happen here, bro. And I will be like, thank God I did not really grow up here sometimes.
Well, let me get back to the point that I was trying to make, right?
Go ahead.
I do feel that there are things that the world can learn from Africa. But everybody looks down on Africa as that
Remember what I said
naked
before?
savages.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
What they show about Africa. When they show that you are poor, everybody assume you're not
The world,
intelligent.
the
That's
world
why
is
you're
not
poor.
seeing enough of Africa, and we're
even half.
actually part of it, because we don't even believe in our own in what we have, right? We don't even believe in what we have, because we need to show off ourselves. We need to bring ourselves to the stage, to the forefront, because trust me, people don't know these things. People don't know, like what you describe, the difference, the other remedies that we have, right? Those traditional institutions, those traditional ways that we use to take care of stuff like therapy and the mental health issues, and we are actually abandoning those for the Western version that's actually has not been proven to be the best.
Yes, that's true.
All right, so let's move on. And another anchor that we leave behind, or that we forget, is what I call the oral history. Remember, like, we have those stories, those legends, those folklores, that teaches us who we are without textbooks.
Yep.
I remember when we were growing up, we used to sit down under the moon and we tell the moonlight stories. We gather and everybody will share their own story. Those are stories with morals, like high moral teachings that teaches you about life, that teaches you about your history, who you are. So the one thing that we're missing is record and documenting, because we should be documenting those knowledge.
Thank God now we have technology.
Exactly.
But I see, when you sit not inside a house,
Outside.
when you sit outside in the night, like 8 p.m. in Africa,
Yeah.
or 9 p.m. or 10, and
It's
you sit,
special.
and a grandmother or a grandfather sits
Yeah.
and
They
speaks
tell
to
you
the
stories.
speaks to the grandchildren. You don't just transfer knowledge alone. You transfer the ancestral DNA verbally, because whatever you speak with your mouth,
Words are powerful.
there you go. So this practice enhances a child to grow into a certain platform of seeing the grandparents and the parents as their first superheroes. And trust me, the best way to make especially a male child, to grow is by transferring your DNA, not just by those talks. Pray with the child, teach them how to sit down after prayers and listen to themselves, which they call meditation.
Reflections as well.
Yes, those reflections serves as some sort of meditation. And trust me, these things create some psychological balances for every human being. And if we can practice those things and your child sees you practice them, even if they don't do them when you are still alive, before you go, or after you go, you trust me, sometime it comes back to that child that they do it properly. Yes. There are a lot of things my dad used to do, and I didn't see them as important when I was a child.
Yeah.
And then when I grew up,
But because you watched, you
Yes,
observed,
I used to see that.
And
And Daddy used to see
memory,
that.
muscle memory is kicking
Yeah.
in after a long time.
After 20, 30 years, it comes to me. I
Interesting.
started practicing them again. Like my dad, my mom didn't find meditation after prayer necessary. My mom, after
Yeah.
prayer, she's done, she's gone. But my dad, after prayer, will sit down. I'll be asking.
I think-
and then as a little child, I'll ask, Daddy, why are you still sitting here? It's like, oh, I like sitting down to think of what I prayed about, like it's answered.
Wow, that's interesting. But the thing is,
Yeah.
most Christians I know don't do that. I think what we did is that we just come together, sing praises, pray. It feels like a one-way communication. It just goes phew. No, not diagonal, but vertical,
sense,
right? It goes boom, and we don't wait, to hear back, right? We don't
That act
wait to
of
hear
listening to yourself after prayers, you use your mind power to confirm the words, you verbs into the atmosphere. And now you conclude your answer with yourself because the God you prayed for lives in you.
back. Exactly.
So now you conclude with a meditation, which is God answering the prayer.
And there's something special about
There is
medication
something
because
definitely
it
special.
reveals a lot in that quietness. If you can spend time in quietness and just meditate, you get lots of answers.
Oh, yeah.
So
For real.
that takes us to the next anchor, the spiritual rootedness. The spiritual rootedness, Sunday services, Sunday service in Africa is like when I moved here, right? I go to church every Sunday. And the one thing that I remember is that one thing that made me miss back home that period was after church in Nigeria, you will have connections with people. You will see people that you will see people that you see familiar faces.
community.
You see a community. You see and you exchange greetings. You exchange pleasantries, right? You chat a little bit about stuff.
Share experiences.
Yeah, before everybody goes home, right?
Yeah.
But when I moved there, right, after church, like everybody's just
Whoop.
people sometimes people don't even wait to get the final blessing, and the boom 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 boom, everybody's leaving.
Okay,
Before you
check
know it,
this out.
everywhere is empty.
Check this out. This environment, we are being trained to stick to work and pay taxes. Now, this brings out back that propaganda thing again, because the elites that
Built
build this system, they build for them to stay without working while
the rest of us.
the rest
work.
of us work to pay taxes to them.
That's
So
still
they are like they play God.
that's indirect slavery.
Yeah. So, and then that act conditions you to see every non-profitable organization like church that you attend, you want to run back home to prepare for an organization that is profitable, like work, that
Yeah,
you're going to go the
I
next
see.
day. So you must fractionize your
yeah.
time in the best of way for you to keep that routine with your health and with your finance to balance everything. This is the system here. But back in Africa, the system is not exactly like that. But if we allow, when this part of the world falls, and we allow them to move into Africa, they're going to make Africa become like that, because Africans easily think that they have better ideas than.
Yeah, and it's sad that, I mean, for me, right, what I want to see in the world is varieties, right? Let there be Western ideas, right? Western system, but let there also be African,
Where?
you know,
Where? Here or in Africa?
in the world, in
Okay.
Africa, like the
This
West
is- this
exists,
is what-
the world and the system
the best
exists
way.
here, and in Africa and African system exists in Africa. Why can't we have
See,
varieties?
The thing there is that we can have varieties if we don't have greedy people. Listen, this might be a little tricky. Now, when you have elites, leaders that are greedy, they want to come to Africa to put something distracting to the masses and loot in Africa. If the looting doesn't, Africans don't stop the looting, or the looters stop looting in Africa. Like right now, as I'm talking to you in Botswana, the diamond company is not being controlled by Africans.
Oh well, but they have a president, they have leadership, and
Let
as
them
far as
see
I
this
know,
program.
as far as I know, those leaders
And
are
I'm
Africans.
coming. And let them see this program, right? They're going to see what I'm saying now. Listen, if we Africans do not own those industries and control those resources, we are still going to not be able to benefit from our resources. And I'm coming. And we can build those industries ourselves.
Okay. Do we have the technical
Yes,
know-how?
we have the engineers. We have everything to mine.
And why are we not doing it? What's
Because
stopping
the
us
person
from?
that built the first one blocks avenue for other. They make it monotonous that only them have the control. And these are people from Belgium, not South Africa. Not even in Nigeria, in Benue State. The people controlling gold in Benue and cobalt are not Nigerians.
But we Nigerians give them access to.
That's
because
what I'm saying.
no-
Remember how I started this? I said our leaders allow foreigners to come establish an organization and control the whole resources attached to one organization. And that makes it to become, we that grow up in that area, we don't, even in news, they don't put it there that that company beside our house was mining gold. After we traveled to Canada, we came to understand that some company around our environment in Africa is the one that is mining the gold we came to see in Canada. This is what I'm talking about.
That is painful, but true.
I have experienced that.
Yeah, I believe
know?
you. I believe you.
And it is not, it's not something I feel good about.
No,
It
I
gets me
don't
emotional
trust me.
sometimes,
I
you know?
I don't either. No one.
And this is caused by our leaders, not by the foreigners.
I know. No one feels happy when their father's barn is being looted.
Yeah.
You know.
You know one thing, every human being is attached to a land. You are born into
a land.
a certain land.
Yeah, because
And then if somebody that did not own that land come to move the people that own that land away,
it's an invasion.
And then the ancestral linkage to the original people of that land
We weakens,
and apart from that, the key to the ancestral linkage becomes detached. And it goes a long way in the down generation when they go and try to restart life somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I am not saying don't migrate to assimilate into another society, but don't push the people. Do business there, but don't push the people that originally owned that place away.
Yeah.
And
for us who migrate from Africa back home to other countries around the world, right? Remember who you are and remember where you are coming from.
Exactly.
Don't lose your identity.
Your roots.
Don't forget
Your
roots.
roots, your identity is your power.
Remember also,
once you lose it, you are floating.
Remember,
psychologically, mentally, spiritually floating.
I also want to say, remember that you have everything you need in this life to be successful back there in Africa. Everything.
That's very true.
Everything is there. So that's something that we should have in mind when we move wherever we are around the world.